Welcome all the new people. I'm Michelle O'Sullivan. I'm from Esperance. So I've had quite a drive to get here, but it's good to see everybody. I am a learning support coordinator at a primary school in Esperance. But today I'm actually talking pretty much about my son Devon, who's just graduated from high school, being fully included his whole schooling, except for kindy when we were kind of trying to find our way, but since pre-primary he's been fully included. So I'm just going to do a pre-intro for those people that weren't here this morning, because I kind of gave a pretty good idea of what Devon was like, and really I would like you to see the full picture, not just some of the great stuff I'm going to show you. So for those people, I'll just give a brief refresh. Devon is, I call, uniquely verbal. He has some language and he echoes what you say. So he's really great if I say bye on the phone, you get the echo, bye. He uses an iPad to communicate, but it is still developing as a fully independent tool for him. He has high sensory needs and he doesn't like some noises. He has now developed many independent skills, but when he started Year 9 at Esperance Senior High School, he had not developed these yet. They actually developed because of his inclusion at the school. Devon had also spent 5 months at home after a bad experience in Year 8 at a different high school, which in no way was his fault, but it actually also caused him to develop PTSD, as well as he's diagnosed as having autism. And he was actually very reactionary to raised and angry voices. So imagine at a 1,000-kid high school, raised and angry voices is pretty much a given, so that was kind of an issue to start. Esperance Senior High School had an education support centre on site, but also ran an inclusive program with separate coordinator, Phil Redding, and completely separate EAs, so they had like a dual system. We requested inclusion and that's what we got. They never questioned our decision. That was our choice. Parents were senior partners. Our choice was respected, even though there was probably more able children in the education support unit. They just worked with us to support Devon and to develop a learning model that suited his learning needs. So if I bring it to the one that Daryl just showed with the physical and social and curricular inclusion, this had him physically always in the classroom, even though at the start he needed a few breaks because he hadn't been at school for about 5 months. Included in the curriculum in all subject areas, with universal design as a key learning overview, and included socially, with social goals being attached to every learning opportunity. So every aspect of the curriculum that he worked on, there was a sharing element with his iPad, showing other kids. We always had social goals attached to everything we did to keep him connected to his classmates. Because I think when you get to high school, you can lose that connection. I'm going to show a short video of a Year 10 science class. That is the perfect example of universal design. It also shows, so maybe if I could just go, I made a PowerPoint for this section, but then I wanted to show some people what it started out looking like, Year 9 and 10. It's quite different to what I'm going to show you in Year 12. That was because he was included. It wasn't anything that I specifically did. It was actually inclusion that helped that growth and development happen. If I don't show you that where we started and the behaviours and all the stuff, then you're just going to think, oh, well, he's pretty easy, that doesn't look too hard. So that's why I'm going to just show this video to start. It shows many behaviours that Devon had. Hopefully you can see how these are just ignored, not even acknowledged. The activity is learning the periodic table and the characteristics of the elements. The EA starts as support, and then 2 students in the class support the project process from there with Devon. The teacher asks questions, or Devon announces what the element is, then the teacher asks the questions to generate the learning for the other students. The other students are placing, it's element bingo, so they're placing their counters on the element that's called out. Devon says the names of the element using his iPad. He does get excited and, well, you'll see. But he is accepted and encouraged to keep going. The EA does step in a few times to just say, it's okay, mate, but they keep going. You will notice, and I want you to really look, the student that's helping him on the iPad during the process does not step back. He does not, you know, Devon's throwing his iPad and the kid's just standing there. There was no fear. It was just accepted. Okay, Dev did that, we move on. No judgment. So I'll just show you some video. I can't show all because it's 16 minutes long, but I'm just going to show the first bit and you'll get the idea.
He is having his evidence and he said he will pop in when there is a break in the practical investigation. All good.
Hello everyone, my name is Devon.
Hey Devon. Hey Devon.
Today in science we are going to play element bingo. We welcome our special guests, Miss Bamblett, Mr. Kruger, Mrs. Chambers and Mr. Reddy.
Hey Miss Chambers.
Thanks for inviting us.
Hello.
I will call out the elements and you will have to find them on your cards. Mrs. Muller will also ask us some questions. There will be some prizes for the winners. Are you ready to start?
Are you ready, class?
Yes.
Righty-o. Okay, first one.
Okay, the first one is Rutherfordium.
Could you repeat that one again, Lucky, please?
Rutherfordium.
Rutherfordium, which is RD. RB. RB. Okay. We ready for the next one?
Dubnium. Dubnium.
Oh, yeah, there it is. DB. Dupnium. Dupnium. DB. Before we continue, who can tell me which number is it on the periodic table? DB.
105.
Oh, no.
It's 105. 105.
105. Well done. Well done. Which group does it belong to?
Transition metals.
Transition metals. Well done. Okay, we're ready for the next one.
Hydrogen.
Hydrogen. Hydrogen. Which group does hydrogen fall in? Group what? Group 1. Is it a metal?
No.
Why do we put it in group 1? Because it behaves like the alkaline metals. Okay. Next one.
Manganese.
Manganese.
I think she's got it.
Manganese. Another transition metal. What's the symbol for manganese? Mn. Well done. Excellent. Well done, Dev. Next one.
Titanium.
Titanium. Titanium. What's the symbol for that?
Ti.
Ti. Well done. What's the atom number? 22. Excellent. What's the atom mass?
47.
47. Awesome. Ready for the next one. Thank you, Dave.
Beryllium.
Beryllium. Beryllium.
Okay, I'm just going to stop there. What you're not going to see, because I've only played 4 minutes, is actually as it goes along, he actually gets more involved and there's less banging and hands over the ears. But it just gives you an idea of the teacher could still expand the concept of elements for other kids and ask questions and be questioning. Devon had the role as the setting it all up and pushing the buttons, obviously, as you saw, and it was supported by the same students. The bit that doesn't show there is also Devon set up the whole afternoon. So he did invitations for the principal, who was Mrs. Bamblett, and key teachers that he had at the school, and he went and delivered the invitations to invite them to come along and watch the element bingo. And they obviously RSVP'd. So he actually learnt the process of actually inviting and then them attending. He made a book. He did a typing activity afterwards saying what had happened. So on Tuesday we had a fun time in our science class. We had special guests and we played elements bingo. I called out the elements and Lockie helped me. Jack wrote the elements on the board. Okay, so he typed that up, then had photos. They got an official photographer that videoed and took photos and actually made it in a book to then share with others. So it's not actually just about the activity, it's actually the follow-up and the pre-things as well. The principal afterwards, and I'm not sure I'm going to be able to share it because my screen's doing something, spoke to the class and spoke to Devon and actually addressed Devon first and thanked him for his efforts and thanked all the class and the teachers and Devon for working together on the process of element bingo. So right from the principal, from the administration, all the way down to teachers, EAs and the students were involved in the process. And that's just the example to show, and obviously some of the behaviours that they just pretty much ignored. So this is just working in partnership with, sorry, bear with me for 1 minute. Okay, there we go. All right. So, the right relationship between Devon, the school staff and our family meant that we developed a trust in each other and a really good working relationship in regards to inclusion socially, physically and with universal design. Devon had learnt that the school valued him and his efforts. He was seen as a learner and an important part of the school community. The school staff, teachers and EAs wanted Devon to experience every part of high school that he could. They were always trying to improve his participation in subject areas by coming up with ideas of how to access the curriculum for him at his level. We as parents jumped off the cliff a few times, trusting their ideas to work. So it wasn't actually them trusting us, well, it was them trusting us, it was us trusting them, and him trusting all of us. Most times we all surprised each other. We were honest and open in our communication. I remember a very awkward conversation I had with Phil, the learning support coordinator, about masturbation, because when you have a 15-year-old boy, things come up, obviously. So, we were honest, we worked through issues, we didn't shy away from anything. The school always presumed Devon was competent and had high expectations, just like Daryl showed you in that initial visual. There were some subjects that Phil, the learning support coordinator, discussed with us that we really thought maybe wouldn't work. So being open to ideas as parents. I know most people assume people with disabilities love cooking. The old life skills thing, surely you've got a disability. No, he was not keen about cooking, or not at home anyway, so actually maybe me is the problem. Timetabling was completely individualised for Devon in Year 11 and 12, and some of the subjects he did were Year 10 ones as well. Phil was very creative in working it all out, and I know at a high school level, this is a 1,000-kid high school, so there's different, different timetabling issues. The EAs also were set up really well. An EA went to a subject area with a teacher, so he had 4 rotating EAs that did different subjects with different teachers, and then they could be involved with that teacher on curriculum and universal design. Cooking and cafe cuisine actually allowed for a lot of working together with other students, and social goals were always key for us. And obviously those hands-on things were great for Devon to be involved. And hopefully with this little video, you can see maybe a difference in him from even the last one I just showed you. Sorry, and we're going to go. Devon's turn. Devon's turn.
Shouldn't take long, and what you don't want to happen is I do need to boil, because it'll all come out in the tin and it'll burn and it'll stick in.
Good
The
job.
bag only needs to just brown people. Doesn't have to be in for long, because you know what you're filling to boil.
Keep going, buddy. Good job.
Ben, we'll put yours in here, because this will brown nice and thick.
Okay. Seems pretty simple, but some schools, it's not happening. Okay. The photo here is actually Woody Island in Esperance, and Devon did bushrangers as a subject, which was actually, we met the most amazing teacher, Mr. Snow, who ran bushrangers. And you go on a massive big boat from Esperance to Woody Island, and bushrangers have camps, and you go over and paint and stuff. The idea of Devon getting on a boat when we were in year 9 or 10 and actually being on the open ocean really freaked my husband and I out. We're like, oh God, what if he freaks out on the boat? You're out there, what are you going to do? So we did this whole planning session. We took photos of the boat, we took photos of Woody Island, we walked him to the jetty. We did all this model that we developed through the school, all pre-planning, the school supported, they talked about the camp. He participated in packing the bags that were going on the camp. Well, he got on the boat, he loved it. He ended up going to Woody Island 4 years in a row for camps. So being open to ideas, if we had have just gone, oh no, we can't do that, something might happen to him, we would have never tried something which he absolutely loved. Okay, fashion was the only similar subject to gift making, which Devon really liked in year 9 and 10, that we could find that would fit with timetabling. Now, fashion. I was unsure, but again, trusted the staff to tailor fashion to a more craft-like subject for Devon. And again, being open to ideas. Okay, we'll try, let's see how we can set it up. Devon, at the beginning of each year, would introduce himself to the class, which was really a simple way, but it worked really well. So again, we'll just come out. Next one.
I am 17 years old.
Yeah. Next one.
My favorite food is chips and vinegar.
Next one, Dave.
I love going to the beach and camping.
Yep.
This is my first time in a fashion class. I am looking forward to making some new items. I hope we will enjoy working together.
Yep.
Thank you for listening.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
And in actual fact, all the kids introduced themselves at the start of fashion. Where'd that go? There we go. But yeah, then straight away he has a connection. I think, Daryl, you know, you're in, but are you really in? Like, he's got a connection. The kids know he likes chips and vinegar. How bizarre is that? And he likes the beach. So it's all about making those connections. The teacher, Mrs. Chambers, for fashion, is just a fantastic teacher for all kids. Don't have to have a disability. She's just awesome. When she and Teresa, the EA, suggested sewing, I, in all honesty, thought, no way will this work. Needles, you have got to be joking. Trust again opened up this amazing experience for Devon. His needlework is truly outstanding. He actually did a lot of threading in early intervention, and sewing is actually threading. Who knew that was going to help? And I will show you because you really do have to see it. The process of learning to hand sew was developed in the same learning model as all the other skills that we developed. So he did a hands-on activity or a project. He then did a written or a typed recount or procedure on what he'd done, and then he shared it with classmates. Okay, so just I was actually truly amazed to see how he could thread a needle and sew his material. So again, if I wasn't open to ideas, we wouldn't have tried. And he's amazing.
So you're sewing the other side now, Dev, so we get a straight line of stitching. Good job. Keep going. Fantastic sewing, Devon.
So can you see there's no behaviours, there's engagement, there's concentration, there's all those things that you want, that developed. As I said, purely to being in, purely to having inclusive experiences. Okay. All right. When, again, Mrs. Chambers and Teresa, the EA, suggested Devon should learn to use a sewing machine, I was very nervous. What does this right relationship mean for parents? It means being open to ideas for your child, not being scared and not limiting their choices and experiences. And I think Tony this morning talked really well about that. Like, don't have that fear for them. If you don't try, if you don't open them up to choices, you're not going to know what could happen. We had built layers of trust and experiences, and this was the next step. The task of sewing was broken down. They used other students to demonstrate the process, again with the social inclusion part of universal design.
And then you've got to make sure that it stays in there.
Watch, Dev, good boy.
Doing pretty good actually. And then you keep it, make sure it's in there. And you put your hands here.
Press your
And here. And here.
Good watching, Dev.
Are they both as good?
I have a minute.
You put a foot down slow so it goes slowly.
Okay, awesome.
Is that
Thank
enough?
you, yep. Then Devon and I will have a go. Thank you.
Okay, she's talking to him like, yep, you're going to do it, Dev. No worries, here you go. This is the way you do it. I'm actually not going to go back into that thing because I'm going to show you now the verse straight up. Devon was so careful and meticulous. And I guess if I could just give you a little information, like for a parent, I guess, and again from this morning, like those expectations, I never thought that Devon would be able to drive. So actually being able to use a foot pedal and coordinate hands and feet. So now I'm like going, well, okay, maybe that's not out of reach. Maybe even riding, we have a motorbike, we've got 10 acres. Maybe with the right planning, similar to what the school did, these things are possible. Now, I would never have thought that. I just would have thought that would have been too hard for him. So they showed us what was possible. Okay, he did the pedal first, and Teresa, the EA, did the hands. Then he did the hands and she did the foot, and then they put it all together.
Okay, this is Devon sewing independently. Great job, Devon. Operating the foot control. And we just need to go back that way now. There we go. You hold it. Here. Yep.
Shame.
And guiding the strap through.
Shame. One shame.
Great work, Devon.
That was pretty amazing as parents to see that concentration and to see that engagement. He loves it. He really loves sewing. Okay. All right, so Devon designed, made, tie-dyed the material. So he learnt to tie-dye and he sewed the whole bag. He hand-sewed and appliqued the fish, because obviously he likes beach, so we made like a beach bag. He hand-sewed the beach, sorry you can't see. So he was involved in the whole process of doing it, and he put it all together. He ironed it. Now, I would never have thought that he would iron. So now he irons every day. No, I still iron. But he could iron at home. Everyone was so proud. They were absolutely so proud. But Mrs. Chambers wasn't finished yet. She wanted more. Okay, the Apex Australia Teenage Fashion Awards is a big deal. Mrs. Chambers asked us if Devon could model his bag at a massive community event at the Esperance Civic Centre, which is packed with hundreds of people. It is an Australian-wide competition that judges teenagers who design their own clothes. Okay? Devon was not judged, because normally it's a full outfit, but he did an exhibition of his bag. Okay, Mrs. Chambers selected another student to support him on stage, and I have to say I have never been so nervous in my entire life. It's like 400 people in this auditorium, and you walk around a catwalk and they're all there. We practiced, and we actually gave Kerry Ann, who was the supporting student, strategies for different scenarios, like if you walked out and you saw the people and he just bolted back behind the screen, like she was going to go, oh well, and just walk off. Hopefully you can all imagine the courage this took, the trust. So Devon, that's hugely out of what you would perceive to be a comfort zone of anyone. The amazing relationships that had been formed, and I actually think Devon was the least nervous out of all the contestants. The girls were just wrecks. He was just, oh yeah, well, here I am, I'm hanging out. And it really is just more powerful to show you.
We have a special presentation. So I'd like you all to please welcome Devon O'Sullivan to the stage. Welcome, Devon. And tonight, Devon is escorted by Carrie Ann Barlow. Devon is a Year 12 student who has recently engaged in sewing and textiles development. He has a love of the beach and swimming. The bag that Devon is modelling is his first machine-produced item. He has used a cotton fabric because of its affinity to dye, absorbency and durability. Devon began the project by learning to hand applique, which is how he attached the fish on the pocket. Devon folded and elasticised a length of fabric before spray dyeing it with his favourite beach colours. This was then cut into the components for the bag. Through practice, Devon has mastered the speed of the machine and controlling the fabric so that the stitching was straight. The bag design also features an internal pocket and the word beach on the front. Thank you very much, Devon, and thank you very much, Carrie-Anne. Devon will complete his schooling at the end of this year and hopes to work in his own business, Devon's Handy Office Help, where he will do a variety of jobs such as shredding, laminating, mail and coffee delivery to aspirants' businesses. We wish Devon every success for his future.
Okay, so it was just amazing, really amazing. And he is now working in his own business, Devon's Handy Office Help. That was our first foray into actually free advertising. We got 400 people in that auditorium listening to Devon's Handy Office Help. We're on Facebook. If you want to have a look, there's posts of him. He has some really cool support workers, young guys. They're between 19 and 21. We have more and more businesses coming on board, so he can go pick up mail, drop off mail to the post office, deliver coffee. We actually have heaps of teachers that are getting the coffee delivery because they can just stay at school and he will deliver them coffee. And the high school have employed him to actually stamp the order books, so that all schools have order books. So he stamps the school stamp onto the order books. And our first customer was Mr. Snow, our bushrangers teacher that gets his mail delivered to the high school every day. So I guess that's just a snapshot. Obviously there's lots of layers, but I guess it's just to show what actually is possible. Thank you.